Hi, Lauren here. I wanted to provide this video to you all to give you a series of various movements and positioning to think about in regards to your lower back and to finding some space within the lower back and finding more ease and freedom and mobility within kind of your whole spinal structure from opening up here. So many of us experience lower back pain. I myself oftentimes experience lower back pain, and what tends to be sometimes a big culprit is the hips, the pelvic region. So this class today, this shorter session, will explore movement in the hips and finding a middle ground between really tipping your hips and also tucking your hips. Yeah, so for this session, you just need a floor space. You can be on a carpet or lay a mat down, and that's how we'll work. We're gonna start low to the ground, we're gonna come to mid-level, and eventually we'll trickle our way up to standing. So go ahead and just prepare your space, and we're gonna start out laying down on our backs. So I'm gonna come around here and I'm gonna lay on my back, soles of the feet planted down so my knees are bent, and I'm just gonna let my arms rest and my hands down on my belly. And as you're getting situated here, maybe you just kind of march your feet a few times to really feel both feet standing down into the floor. That's quite important here, that you're standing your feet down into the ground. And then you can close down your eyes and you can just allow the backside of your body to soften, heavy, and spread. Feeling the weight of your chest and the weight of your hips. And just arriving to this moment in time. Go ahead and just take a nice deep clearing breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. And then I want you to take your hands and bring them down underneath your lower back area. And you might say, I can't. My lower back is pushing down into the floor. Well, in that case, I want you to tip your hips forward, and feel the way you can arch a little bit in your lower back. And your hands can slide under. And then I want you to tuck your hips under and feel the way your lower back can press down into your hands. Take that again a few times. I want you to rock your pelvis forward, feel the arch that moves into your back, and then tuck your hips under and feel that press of the back into the ground. Yeah, so a few more times. You're feeling the way your pelvic bowl can sort of rock on each side here. It can tip and tuck. And if you want to take your hands out from under your back and put them on the front side of your hips, put them on those little bony landmarks, you can feel the way those bony landmarks kind of lift up and go forward, and then the way they sort of sink down and roll back as you tip and tuck. So these are two ways that the pelvis can exist. It can exist really tipped forward, it can exist really tucked under, and what we want to find is a middle ground. Yeah, you want to find yourself not too tipped forward and not too tucked under and thrusted, but you want to find maybe a little bit of a more quick rock and rock and rock and rock to land yourself somewhere in the middle, and see if you're able to be easy and soft here, in this place.
And just have a moment to kind of feel that out for yourself, because you might feel like you're really existing in a tip or in a tuck. And what is it like for you to land where, yeah, there's a little space for your hands to slide under your back, but you're not overarching, or you're freeing your back up enough that you're not tucking too much under. Okay. So from there, let's just toe heel the feet apart, a little bit wider, mat's edge or wider than hips width. And then take the arms out to the sides and just windshield wiper your legs, nice and easy. And see now here if we can keep the back out of the equation. Yeah, so see if you're able to just allow your legs to rock from side to side without doing too much arching or tucking in your pelvis. Just finding nice, simple freedom in the lower region of the body. And just go for another moment here, rocking from side to side. Maybe softening up in your facial muscles or softening up in your shoulders and upper back. Take one more rock over to either side, and then bring yourself back to the center. Toe heel your feet a little closer together, and then bring your hands to those front hip points and inchworm your right foot forward. And just keep inching the foot forward and notice if the hips want to move at all. And as you start to slide on your heel and you start to slowly straighten your right leg, see if you can keep your hips from moving. They're not tipping, they're not tucking, they're remaining in that middle ground as you find a long, straight right leg. If the hips have found a tip or a tuck, I would encourage you to bring your right foot back to the floor and try again, and try to keep the pelvis from doing too much of the arch or too much of the rounding, and see if you can settle into some ease. And then from there, let's hug the left thigh into the chest and just take a simple rock of the left leg, just a few centimeters from side to side. Okay, go ahead and softly release your left foot to the ground. See if the back can stay fairly easeful, and then slide that right foot up and place it on the floor. Second side, inchworming your left foot forward. Maybe the hands want to come around towards the lower back so that you notice if you want to press the back into the floor or arch it a little bit too much. You see the theme here? And you might find that you can allow your back and your pelvis to stay in this middle ground as you lengthen and extend that left leg long. If you're not finding that to be the case, it's no problem. You might just do this simple practice a few times over and over to see where you're able to release muscularly or to switch the positioning of your pelvis so that you find this neutral ground for your lower back. Once you get here, you can hug that right thigh in. I'm not forcefully hugging it. I'm just letting it be kind of where it is, long, straight, right, two arms out, and just rocking from side to side. And then go ahead and easy, just place your foot on the floor, and then slide your left foot back up next to your right foot. Oh, and then go ahead and very slowly shift your hips over to one side, roll your body over into a little fetal position, and then use your hands to help you press up. We're going to move to tabletop position, hands and knees. So you can crawl around and come to your hands and your knees. Spread your fingers and just line up your ankles and your feet evenly. And then I want you to feel that same sensation in your hips here of tipping and arching, and then of tucking the pelvis and really rounding in the lower back. Do it just maybe 1 or 2 more times where you feel yourself dropping those front hip points down and then really coiling them back and in towards the belly. And then can you find a place where you're not too tipped and you're not too tucked? Yeah, where you're landing in the middle. And if you want to take one of your hands and bring it back to your low back and your tail and feel the reach of the tail going straight back, not down or up, and then feel your head reaching forward. Take a long breath in. Nice full breath out. And then I want you to bring your shins a little bit closer together. And I want you to ground your left shin on the floor. Extend your right leg back. Notice already here, have the hips dropped or tucked? And can you keep your tail reaching straight back as you hover your right toes? I haven't talked a lot about the abdominals or the core, but you should feel maybe a subtle lift of your belly. You can engage lightly there to keep yourself from dumping out. And if you feel like you're really thrusting and over engaging, see if you can ease up on that as well and find a little bit more of long length moving back in space. Press into both hands evenly, and then take another breath to just lengthen from head to heel, and softly lower that right leg down and change sides. Even out your hands, stretch your left toes back. Feel the lift of your front body out of the ground. It's not too forceful in the core or the abdomen here, but then the left toes could hover. Yeah, and if you're dumping down or you're really, again, thrusting up, see if you can ease between those two very intense positions and land in that beautiful middle ground of existence. And take another breath that lengthens you from head to heel, and then lower the shin back down. And just take a moment here on 2 hands and legs. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then I'm going to have you tuck your toes, rock back towards your heels, walk your fingertips back, lift up your knees, walk your hands back, take your feet a little wider, bend your knees, put your hands on your thighs and come on up to stand. And to close today, take a hand and put it at your lower back, and take a hand and place it at your lower belly. And just march out 2 feet on the floor, even out your stance, and feel this moment where you could be tipping back or you could be thrusting forward. And see if you can let go of either of those positions and land yourself right in the middle, where you have a tail that can drop and you have maybe a front body that can rise and stand tall. Free your arms up. And then just take a few steps. Walk around your mat here. Just take a little walk around. See if you can feel this sensation of dropping and rising. And I just want to thank you for taking a moment to sort of educate yourself on your own pelvis and back. Any of these little exercises from floor to all fours that we visited today, you can explore every day of your life, and you can do them longer and in more repetition. Yeah, please do reach out if you have further questions. Again, this was short and I tried to be concise, but I'd love to hear from you, and happy lower back life. Thank you. Take care.